Guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Cierra, and this video is going to be about all of the books that I read this year. Spoiler alert, I did not reach my reading goal. I set it over on my other channel, not on this channel, but my goal was to read about like 80 books this year, and I have been reading for the past, I would say, like 4 or 5 years consistently. I started off reading like 25 books in a year, and so I just gradually moved it up because I was realistic. I was like, look, there is no way we're gonna be reading like 100 books a year. Not even possible. 2 years ago, my goal was to read 50 books and I surpassed it. This year it was 80 because I had surpassed my goal last year. I think last year was like 60 books, something like that. And I went above that. So I was like, you know what? It's probably not gonna be that hard to read 80 books. I was wrong. I did read 65 books as of today, as I'm filming. I'm expecting it to just go up to 66. I'm expecting to finish one more book, but that is literally it, which is completely fine. But let's go ahead and dive on into my statistics. I'm gonna be using Storygraph and then diving into the books I read each month. All right, I'm gonna shut up. Let's get started. So 65 books. That's roughly 21,143 pages. I feel like one book wasn't counted, maybe? I don't know. Because I did read I did read an arc for, I think it was Magic in the Melanin. I don't know if it ever got counted because it was an arc at the time. I don't think so. We'll see. Moving on. Average time to finish, 4 days. I feel like that's completely wrong. A lot of the times I wasn't updating it, so it definitely took me longer than that. My top 3 moods is dark, intense, and mysterious because I'm always a thriller girly. I like me a romance, but it has to be a Black romance. Black interracial romance. It has at least the main character in my romances have to be a Black girl, Black woman. Otherwise, I'm not reading it, to be quite honest. But those are my top 3 moods because I love a thriller. I did read quite a bit of horror too. So pace, majority of the books is medium, some were a little bit fast, obviously because I read quite a few novellas. Page number, my highest percentage is 300 to 499 pages roughly, which is roughly about accurate, especially for romance books because they borderline like, I would say like 350, so it makes a lot of sense. 45% less than 300 and 500 plus 6%. I read a book that's 500 pages. I don't know if that's correct. We're gonna have to look into that because I do not recall whatsoever. It must have been an audiobook. Must have. So moving on. My books are mostly fiction. I don't really read nonfiction all too much. Obviously, it was just 2%, which literally I can think of one of those books, which was literally 106 Days by Kamala Harris. That's the only one I can think of. I don't know how I got to 2%, but maybe there's one other book. I don't know. Top genres, romance, young adult, contemporary, horror, and thriller. Which is shocking because my top moods were dark and like, what was it? Dark, mysterious, and dark, tense, and mysterious were my top moods. Interesting. Those being my top genres make a lot of sense. That's typically what I read. Format, I read about 8,155 pages and listened to over 300 hours. Makes sense. I am more of an audiobook girly than anything because I'm constantly doing stuff, making content like this. I listen to YouTube, but like I'll put on my audiobook while I'm editing or while I'm writing. Somehow that has been working for me too, listening to an audiobook while writing my story. I'm still able to like decipher both stories. I don't know why, but it worked for me for a little bit there. And then 17% in digital. Makes sense. Top authors. As you can see, Alexandria House, that's my girl. Love her work. Tiffany D. Jackson, I did read a lot of her work. Lizelle Sambury. Adeline Grace, Lisa Jewell, because I love me some Lisa Jewell, Kennedy Ryan, J.L. Seegers, love her, Kimberly Lemming, she's really good too, Akwaeke Emezi, and Brianna Peppins. Yes. Adeline Grace, that's mainly because I actually read the Belladonna trilogy, so obviously that's why she's up there, but I haven't read any other of her work. I don't know if there is any more of her work, but everyone else on that list makes a lot of sense. It's mainly who I read. Brianna Peppins is a newer author that I started to read. Moving on past that one. Average star rating. My average is 4.35. Yeah, 4.35 stars, which makes sense. I have a hard time giving books 5 stars completely, but I also don't like to rate books lower than that because I don't finish books anything lower than that. Like, at the very least, I think one of them is a 2-star read. I don't even remember which book that was, to be quite honest, but I typically don't finish books if I know I'm not gonna like it. I've DNF'd a lot of books. So yes, I read 65 books, but I DNF'd probably like 15 books, I think. Let's actually look into that. I DNF'd, oh, there's probably counting all of the books. I DNF'd 21 books, but it's probably counting books from previous years. 14, yep, see, I was close. So literally, if I actually read those books, I would have been well over my goal, but I DNF'd quite a few books. So let's go ahead and just run through the ones that I DNF'd. I DNF'd The Saturday Night Ghost Club, mainly because it wasn't written how I thought it was gonna be written, and I just didn't click with it. I still have the book. I'm gonna give it a second chance. I'm gonna get back to it. Rotten Tommy, another book I just didn't get into. I was like really much into my horror bag at the beginning of the year, and then it just like, boop. I don't know what happened. More Than You'll Ever Know. Yeah. And I usually like a little bit of a historical fiction. Like, I started to get more into that, where it's like that historical fiction, like dual timeline thing. But that one just didn't click for me. What Have We Done? Literally the prologue sounded so good, and then the first chapter made no sense to me. I was like, I'm sorry, what? I was completely lost. The Resort, roughly the same thing with What Have We Done? It just started off weird. I don't know. Witchcraft for Wayward Girls, I was almost done with this book, but I gave up on it. I wanted more witchiness. I wanted more. Like the situations, there were not that many that really encompassed the story enough for me. Like, I was expecting like some murder within like chapter 3. Like, I was expecting like more heightenedness about these girls using witchcraft, but it was like someone broke their arm. I'm like, I'm bored. This isn't giving what I thought it was gonna give. The Library of the Dead, I had heard of this book and I listened to the first chapter, and I didn't have the time to get into it really. Because I listen to a lot of my books on Libby, and so if I'm not constantly on the app, I will forget about the book and then literally be like, oh, your book is due. I'm like, crap. I'll just turn it in. Death of Jane Lawrence, I got through, I think maybe like 6 hours of this book. It was taking too long to pick up to the point. Like, I love Crimson Peak, the movie, because it was giving very much that. I was like, oh, perfect. But literally the point to get to the intenseness took way too long. I was just like, One Dark Window, I wanted to read this book. I heard it was really good. I listened to it. I don't know if it was maybe because I listened to it versus reading it, but listening to it, it didn't sound good. I didn't like it anymore. I was like, this is boring. Immortal Dark. This is a DNF technically because I was listening it through Libby, but I couldn't grasp the story. I think I have to physically read it to fully like get immersed into the story, because at first I was like, what is happening? Same thing with Legendborn. I think I just have to physically read. I'll just have to physically read the book. I'm not going to give up on these books entirely, because I like me a black fantasy, so I'm just like, I want to give that a second chance. The American Roommate Experiment. I tried. This one was a physical copy I read, and I tried my best. My thing is, this is just how I watch TV and how I read books. But if you're constantly referring to the character's name when we've known for chapters on end this character's name, it's gonna be a problem for me. It's highly repetitive and highly annoying. Like, I swear, like, every other dialogue was the love interest and the main character referring back to each other using their name. And it's like, I know who you are. I know you're talking to each other. There's no one else you're fucking talking to. We're in chapter 4. All you guys been doing is talking to each other. There's no one else. Why are you calling her by her name? I'm so confused. I'm the same way with TV shows, which is why I stopped watching My Life with the Walter Boys, because I swear if they said Jackie one more time, I was going to slap somebody through my iPad screen. I swear. Just like that repetitiveness is highly annoying. I don't like it. Something in the Water, I DNF'd. I didn't like it. And I like Catherine Stedman, okay? I loved The Family Game, but this one just wasn't it for me. Same thing with The Midnight Feast. I like Lucy Folly, but that one was just, it was not it for me. I tried so hard, because at first I DNF'd it, and then I went back to give it a second chance, and I still didn't like it. I was like, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. I just gotta let it go. But those were the books that I DNF'd. So anyway, moving on to the books that I did read. January. So in January, I read 5 books. I read The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. Amazing book. Absolutely love it. Little Rot by Akweke Emezi. Petrified Women by Jeremy Ray. The Murders of Molly Southbourne, Trey Thompson, which is actually a Black author. At first, I didn't know that. I read This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. So those were the books I read. I'm going to do a separate video of my top 5 books. And then, yeah, because otherwise this video will be long as hell. Moving on to February. February, I read Elevator Pitch by Evelyn Lee, Shoe by Alexandria House, Out of Body by Nia Davenport, Ja by Alexandria House, because them boys trilogy, love it. I love Set. Set is my favorite. But when I say Shoe was wild, Shoe was wild. I said, I was clutching my pearls. I was like, what is this? Some chaos? What is this? It was a mess. It was a hot mess, and I absolutely love it. In March, I read 9 books. I read Foxglove and Belladonna, so the first 2 books in Adeline Grace's trilogy. Tender Beast by Lizelle Sambury, When the Reckoning Comes by Latanya McQueen, The Queen's Spade by Sarah Raleigh, The Center by Aisha Manazir Siddiqui, Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop, This Cursed House by Dale Sandine, and Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Eyimide. Amazing books. Oh my God. A lot of them were amazing. I don't know what else to say, because I have to say that for the other video. Moving on to April. I feel like April was my most read month. We'll see, because this one is 14 books. I read You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akweke Emezi, The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson, The White Guy Dies First by Terry J. Benton Walker. This is an anthology series. All of the stories were really good. There were 2 that really like caught my eye. One of them was, I think it was 2 sisters who work at their family's Chinese restaurant. And there was some mess going on. And the other one was when a girl was part of a friend group and they were going to a dance at the school, or at least setting up for a dance. That one was really good. Ooh, that was good. Ooh, all of them are really good. But I those 2, I was just like, damn. Wild. Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson. White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. Holden by Alexandria House. We Used to Live Here by Marcus Clewer. I'm going with Clewer. Sanctuary by Alexandria House. That one was a novella. Should Have Been by Alexandria House. Always the Baker by B. Love. That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. Kimberly Lemming. The Black Queen. Jamada Emil. I will say, this book was really good, but the thing is, one of the narrators for one of the characters, I don't know which one it was. I tried my best to look it up. I don't know who it was. But one of them, she like has gasps, breaths of air in between her speaking. I didn't know if it was just because I had it on like two times speed. I don't know what. And I reduced it to 1 and it's still there. She's just like, I'm like, is this like a thing to like allude to the character and with the situation that they're in? Or was this because she was having a hard time breathing while reading this book? I don't know, but it was highly annoying. But I read it all the way through. I was just like, I'm like, you're almost done. Just breathe, let it go. I know it's irritating, but we gotta keep it moving forward. Delicious Monsters by Lizelle Samberry, and Wisteria, the last book in the Belladonna trilogy. In May, I read 5 books, so definitely it seems like so far April was the most read month. May, I read Mistletoe by Kimberly Lemming, Outdrawn by Deanna Gray, The Reformatory by Tananarive Due, Sweet on the Greek by Talia Hibbert, and Revive Me Part 2, The Affair by J.L. Seegers. Really good books. Deanna Gray was a new author that I read too, so I was just like, like I said, if I'm gonna read a romance, it has to be a Black female character as the main character, like as the main character. A Black male character, that'll be fine too. But I'm more prone to read a book if it's a Black female character. So either if they're in an interracial relationship, either it is a sapphic romance, and any type of romance really, straight, gay, LGBTQIA plus. As long as it's a Black girl, I'm reading it. June, I only read 2 books. I read A Sure Thing by Nicole Palizzi, Snooki, and Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. July, I read 8 books. I read Then She Was Gone and Don't Let 'Em In by Lisa Jewell, because I love me Lisa Jewell book. She always has me on the edge of my seat. I swear for God, I love her writing style. It's so simple and it's so quick. I'm like flipping through the book. I'm I'm kind of feral. I'll be like, come on. Like, you just have to see me reading a Lisa Jewell book. It's insane. Stolen Tongues by Felix Blackwell. The Night She Disappeared by Lisa Jewell. Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. Plus Size Player by Danielle Allen. The 710 Split by Carmen Lee. And Grimoire Noir by Vera Greentea. Technically, I went to Libby and I was planning on reading the 710 Split and the Relationship Mechanic, but I didn't finish the Relationship Mechanic, so that's another DNF. So when I literally was in Storygraph, I went to the one that had both of them, but then the fact that I didn't finish Relationship Mechanic, I had to go back in and fix that and put this one in, so that's why the other one didn't pop up on my DNF list. This August, I read 5 books. I read Blood in the Water by Tiffany D. Jackson, In My Mind by Ty. This one was wild. I said, what the fuck is that? This one was a novella, baby. I don't even know how to describe it. Bones at the Crossroads by Ladarian Williams. All the Dead Lie Down by Kyrie McCauley. One by One by Frida McFadden. I like a Frida McFadden book. I mentioned this on my other channel, but Frida McFadden is like reading a Lifetime movie, and I love a Lifetime movie. I love the sheer chaoticness of it. Some of it's predictable obviously, but there's some other things where you're like, God damn, that's what y'all decided to throw together? Yes. And I love it. I love me a Lifetime movie. If it reads like a Lifetime movie, I'm going to read it. Is it going to be 5 stars? Absolutely not. But is it going to be fun? Absolutely. It's going to be a journey. Moving on to September. I read 8 books. I read Unexpected Past by A. Blossom, Blood Moon by Brittany S. Lewis, and Needy Little Things by Chanel Desamore. I'm thinking the last name is French, so I don't think the S gets added. If You Were a Movie by Zakaya and Jamal, Innocent Intent by Casey Mills, Revive Me Part 3, The Apology by J.L. Seegers, because you know I had to wrap that up, okay? Mastery of Monsters by Lizelle Samberry, and The Taking of Jake Livingston by Ryan Douglas. Moving on to October, my birthday month. I said 106 days, didn't I? 107 days. 107 Days by Kamala Harris. Talk to Me Nicely by Brianne Denay. I actually read this. It was the weekend my friend was getting married and I was a bridesmaid. So while we were just like sitting in the room, recuperating after the wedding. Was it after or before? I don't remember. I think it was the night before the wedding. Literally, we were just chilling in the room, all hanging out. They were scrolling in my phone. I was like, I scrolled enough. So I started reading it because I was like, you know what? It's a novella. It's going to go by quick and I can knock another book out. Then I read Briarcliff Prep, sophomore year by Brianna Peppins. Capone by Jaquel J. It's my first Jaquel J book. And what baby, I've never read, I've read a few like urban romances. This one was, this is like my first, this type of romance. Because the ending, I was baffled. I was like, I gotta read the second one. I just never got around to it. But baby, when I tell you this, the Delgado family so far, I'm like, hold on. Give me a minute. What is happening? Like every 10 seconds, I was like, hold on. Let me process. Not much was happening in the book, but so much was happening in the book. If that makes any sense to you. But I was like mind boggled. And last up, Briarcliff Prep by Brianna Peppins, the first book. November, I didn't read any books. Oopsies. And then December, I literally am just reading The Conjuring of America, so hopefully I'll finish that soon. I'm a little bit over halfway through it, but yeah, that's those are literally all the books that I've read this year. What books have you read this year? Please put them in the comments below. Did we read any of the same books? And until next time, stay magical, keep reading. Love ya. Bye.